A marketer once told me that one triathlete is worth 10 runners to a business because us triathletes are total suckers when a company says that their $4,000 gadget can save us 37 seconds over the course of an Ironman. We're all guilty of trying to buy speed, which in itself is not a bad thing. But these 7 purchases that we're about to list, not only do they not make us faster, but in a lot of cases they actually make us slower and should be avoided at all costs. What's up, motivators? My name is Taren. When ordinary people want to accomplish something extraordinary in endurance sports, they choose our totally free Motive training plans. You ready to take on that next big endurance challenge? Let's do it. First, a few ground rules on how this list was created. For starters, I'm not saying don't ever buy these things. If you want to buy them and you would enjoy them, then by all means, go ahead. I'm just saying these things that I'm about to list shouldn't be expected to really make any improvements in your performance in training or racing. Second, this list could have been miles long, but instead I am going to stick with big buckets of product types that have never been proven to add anything to triathletes' performance. Third, it's more of a general rule here, but going forward in your triathlon career, if you see pro triathletes going all in on one specific product from one specific brand all in the same year, and they weren't doing it the year before, well, 9 times out of 10, that's just because they've been paid. Now that I'm sure I've effectively ticked off the entire pro triathlon media machine, let's get into the things that we shouldn't really be thinking about purchasing. First are all the compression things. I'm talking about compression boots where you sit there and you have compression up your legs, and compression socks, compression pants, compression arm sleeves. Compression everything, while it might feel nice, it's never actually been proven to enhance recovery itself. Any of the studies that have shown that things like compression boots have actually improved the ability to recover after a workout, it's not necessarily the act of the boots that are enhancing the recovery, it's more the act of just lying there for a period of 20 to 30 minutes as a forced recovery. And while things like compression socks might help while you're on a plane to enhance recovery, well, that's really different than day-to-day use. Really just sticking your legs up in the air and resting on a couch has been shown to be far more effective at enhancing your recovery. The second thing, and this has been coming up over the last several years, is sophisticated testing. I've known new triathletes that are just preparing for their first race get told that they need to get into a lab to be tested for their VO2 max on not just a run, but also a bike. Also, sweat rate testing, wind tunnel testing, fat versus carbohydrate usage testing, gut testing, all of this testing has been positioned as things that all triathletes have to do to dial in their training. That's just not how good training works. Take zones, for example. Going in and getting your testing done in a lab has been shown to be inaccurate by as much as 10%, and frankly, all of our zones and what our bodies are capable of day to day vary as much as 20%. Maybe you're a professional athlete and you are trying to just eke out the last little bit of potential performance that you can squeeze out of your body. The rest of us can make huge improvements with a well-designed training plan and tests that we can do on our own for free. The third thing that is highly overrated is a triathlon bike worth more than $10,000. Now, I am certainly guilty of somebody who has ridden a triathlon bike worth $15,000. But I was getting them for free, and I wasn't expecting the $15,000 triathlon bike to be that much faster than an $8,000 triathlon bike. And of course, if you are somebody who has the money and you really want to have the best bike possible, by all means, go ahead and get that top-end $15,000, $17,000, $20,000 super bike, but it's not really going to make it that much faster. Once you get to a triathlon bike that has deep section wheels, all of the cables nicely hidden, and a nice comfortable position that you can stay in for hours on end, all of the gains are basically done. And you can get that for far less than $10,000. Related to that, the next thing that is a complete waste of money is complicated aftermarket on the bike storage. Things like a big water bottle hanging down in front of our aero bars, a bento box taped on top of our bike, a flat repair kit that is taped on the water bottle area of the down tube. All of these things take that super wind tunnel optimized bike and it just completely ruins it. There should really only be two things that you add onto your bike after the fact if you need additional storage. One is a horizontal bottle mounted in between your arms on the aero bars. This is going to be invisible to the wind. Next, you want to have a double bottle off the back of your seat. That's also going to be invisible to the wind, and in that spot, you can have a little canister with your flat repair kit, and then the other bottle holder can have some nutrition. And then you might say, well, then I'm gonna have to change my bottles at every aid station and that's gonna make me less aerodynamic. Well, it's actually probably gonna give your body a chance to give yourself a little bit of a break out of that aero position. And this is going to make you, over the course of the race, able to execute the rest of the bike and the run much faster. Now you might say, where do I put my nutrition? Just put it in your back pockets in a triathlon suit. This is also invisible to the wind. You're gonna have to open up the packages for your nutrition anyway. Why not just take a quarter of a second to reach into your back pocket and pull that nutrition out? The next thing is one of my absolute biggest pet peeves in endurance sports, and that is an all-in-one nutrition product. The concept of having this perfectly dialed in for us all-in-one nutrition product that has the exact amount of calories and electrolytes and fat versus carbs, it doesn't make any sense. About 90% of us in a triathlon are going to have stomach issues. And the easiest way to solve those stomach issues is by switching from whatever you're drinking to water, just to change the osmolality in your stomach. Now, if you do this, all of a sudden you're not following your all-in-one nutrition and you are completely robbing your body of the calories that it needs because you aren't taking fluids from one source and calories from another source. The second to last thing that we shouldn't fuss over is a super high-end triathlon watch. I have trained with pro triathlete after pro triathlete after pro triathlete, and they all just use the basic functions of whatever watch that they have. Little bit of pace, maybe power, and heart rate. As long as it tells the time and they know how long they've been doing a specific interval, they're happy. As long as you have something that gives you your basic heart rate connecting to a heart rate strap and is flexible enough to give you a display setup that you like, you're good. I am going to end with ticking off the coaches because I think that a lot of endurance athletes waste a lot of money on coaches. And there are a couple of instances where this happens. The first is when people get separate coaches for swimming, for running, and for strength training. This doesn't tend to happen a lot for biking. The issue with this is if the coaches aren't completely coordinating day by day by day, the coaches don't know what's happening in the rest of your training. And this is a massive issue because every single workout should coordinate with the other workouts to make sure that your total training balance is balanced and the workouts complement each other so that some days you go easy to allow you to go hard the next day. With our Motive Training app, we include all the nutrition training, the run, the swim, the bike training, the strength training, and the mobility training that athletes need, and they all coordinate together. And that's where we find athletes make a huge amount of improvement just because they're doing the basics well in every aspect of their training, and those aspects of their training coordinate with each other. The very final bone that I have to pick with coaches is actually the reason that we started the Motive Training app. The coaches who all they do is write workouts and they charge $100, $200, even $300 a month, but they're very hard to get a hold of. They don't really adjust training plans day to day. They don't communicate with athletes a lot. That is incredibly overpriced, and you could get that from a template training plan, or better yet, you can get that from a free training plan in the Motive Training app with workouts that actually coordinate with each other. Now, there are a lot of amazing coaches out there, but there are a huge number of coaches out there that literally are just workout writers, and if all you're buying is workouts, buy your workouts for far less than $200 a month. If you haven't yet tried the Motive app, absolutely go and sign up. It can be used for free. Click the link that is on the screen right now. You can go sign up and see what it's like to have a training plan where all of those aspects of training work together to complement each other, and you'll see how much of a difference it makes when you do the basics really well over and over. Later, motivators.